Street Talk, and tonight it's a recap show. Elections are over with, and I am one happy camper. Everybody asked me to bring back the mayor, so I brought him back here, and he's a little deflated right now, even though my Democratic Party won. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. Here we go. This is Father's Night. I'm so happy. All our people got in. I have a couple, but the biggest and the most wonderful thing that happened, God bless you, Senator Maynard. Senator Maynard, back in. I am so enthralled and congratulate. That was the biggest thing. I mean, I was weepy-eyed. I was scared back and forth there. All of you people who must have watched that thing on TV, I was scared to death. Andy has done so much for our side of the community and did so much work for us, all of Connecticut. I was so happy to see that. So we've got prayers for that. And I'm going to go over the list, but right across from me is my partner in crime. Okay?
How are you doing today, Father?
Dominic Cotton's with us, and back my co-host, and everything else like that. We
had a pretty good day.
We rocked.
Yep.
Huh? Can I wear do I look
The
good?
Kingmaker. I'm not sure if it's the Kingmaker or Kreskin the Amazing. Let me see who's going to come up here and be voted in next.
Right. I mean, look, I got to say, Danny boy, we love you. And I know I put out a lot of stuff about you, and I know I said you were a pain. And you know what, Dan? You are a pain, but you're our pain, and you got to make us proud. Love Nancy. Nancy, you're the best. You need to stay beside him and keep him under control. Make him smile more and get along better with our people out there that vote and whatever. You know what I mean? Happy days, happy days. You worked your butt off, my friend, huh?
We did. We did. You know, we got some wonderful people. There is a whole bunch of changes that went on at the very top of both sides of the party.
Both sides of the party. But you know what? Kathy was on us here.
Yep.
Kathy went back in. Boom.
Yep.
Slammed them. Did it great, right? Kathy Osteen, Senator Osteen, absolutely. Bob Duff.
Bob Duff is the new majority
It's the
leader.
new majority leader. Unbelievable, huh?
Yep. He got voted unanimously by all the other senators in there to be majority leader.
He is one of the nicest guys.
He is.
I mean, you got to be really happy. Ernie Hewitt. Ernie. I love Ernie Hewitt. Anybody who knows that. Ernie, I almost got in a fight out there with your opponent there, Mr. Lockwood, because of the racist. He's a racist. I don't like him. I thought his signs were the most disgusting thing. But 2-1, our people showed, we're with you, Ernie. We're going to go down with you. You've been one of the best representatives we've had in this area. I'm so happy. I was so happy. I was with Ernie, watching the governor come in, and I'm so happy with him. And down your way, Gary Holden Winfield.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem. Eric Coleman.
Eric Coleman made it in.
Huh?
Coleman made it in. Well, these are the stalwarts. You know what? A lot of these guys, if they get primaried, that's their biggest issue, because they don't run a candidate out against some of these people in Hartford, New Haven, some down in Norwalk, because they know that these are the people.
Yeah.
That have a large Democratic base in their area.
He had a huge base in his area, but he was worried about the primary.
Eric worked really hard during his whole entire primary. He walked his whole territory. He was out there every day, and he's back, and he's
Tony Walker.
Yeah, there's another one. I don't think she ran. She ran unopposed. So did my good friend Bruce Morris.
I know, and Bruce.
Bruce.
Nobody's going to go against them.
No.
They're such wonderful people. But across the aisle, man, we had here.
Rob Kane.
Rob Kane.
Yep. Rob won his contest.
Won his contest and everything else. So will he be minority leader?
No. It's Kevin Whitkos.
Oh, Whitkos. Okay.
Whitkos.
Kevin Kelly. We were down with Kevin.
Yep,
He's a
Kevin,
great-
Kevin,
another
Kevin,
great guy.
Kevin won.
I'm talking about guys across the aisle, Father usually
Yep.
is down and dirty Democrat, but I happen to love these people. These people are really dynamite people to work
Yep.
with, and we work with Gail.
Gail Lavelle.
Wonderful.
She
wonderful.
she won like 70% of her vote, like in her districts in Norwalk, Wilton, and
Wonderful.
Westport.
Wonderful lady, wonderful.
She is. She is.
Absolutely. And I have to mention your senator who loves me so much, who runs for me in the hallways, but who works so hard.
She did say she'd come on here for us. I said, "You're not afraid of the priest?" She said, "No, I'm not afraid of the priest.
That's Senator
I just don't want to kiss her a hug from him. That's all."
She is a super lady. She works so hard with us.
I
Yeah.
actually campaigned around for her because.
Yeah.
And the more and more, I mean, we can talk about this a little bit later down in there, but the more and more that I realize how much she really pushed and did for our community and really went out and above and beyond. And I wanted to pay her back by making sure that I went out and, I went out door to door.
I know you did.
And campaigned for her.
You did a lot of work down there. I know
Yep.
how much work you did down in your area. James, we lost James. How did we lose James Maroney? That's James Maroney for you. 150, 40, 100, something about?
Him and also Paul Davis, who
And
was
Paul
on
Davis,
here.
you gotta be kidding me.
Both by about 150 votes.
You gotta be kidding me. Great, smart guys.
Yep.
You know what? You know what I think is wrong with what happened? They run clean campaigns.
Yeah.
Clean
do.
campaigns don't make it.
They do.
Nobody listens to me. And they say, I said, look, even the saints tell you, we deal with the devil. I get down and dirty. Yeah? Okay, that's one of the things most of you people don't understand. That we deal with evil all the time. And our Father gets down and dirty with the devils, okay, that abuse us, that don't want to take care of the marginalized and the poor. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm extremely aggressive, and I'll nail what they say and all the dirty things they do. And when you fight like that, you got to hope to God, whoever your God is, mine happens to be Jesus, that he can get you out of the situation before you get swallowed up. But in a campaign, historically, people do not realize our campaigns have been dirty from the founding fathers on. And that's historically. And if you can't fight like that, you don't usually win. The only one I ever seen win really good was Andy. But I also, when Andy did that a couple of years ago, the other side, the man who he was running against, was as gracious as he was. So you had two very gracious people who went on the issues, but that's not usually what happens. Your opponent is usually one that's they're gonna get people to help them. I mean, I'm going to have that. Well, we'll talk about what we're going to do.
Yeah, we got plenty to talk about. I think we're just giving over the immediate recaps.
Okay. Did we miss anybody?
We did. As far as the Senate goes, they picked up one extra seat on the Republican side, and the Republican that they picked up was Paul Carmichael, who we had on here, and quite obviously,
love Paul.
we thought a great deal about Paul
Right.
and how well he was focused on small business community and how he was around our issues and that he's been on the Council of Governance.
It's too bad. I'm sorry. We
Yeah.
lost Ritter.
Yeah.
Okay. But on the other hand, and Paul works well with us. Paul's an old-time Republican. We had him on here, a gracious man, and anybody from the area knows Paul, and his people know him. He is a hard worker. He's a dynamite guy. And if you're watching, I know Paul. I'm not blowing you smoke. I mean it. He's a good.
And we're hoping to have him on again. I mean, I sent him a message the other day,
good.
and he responded back that he had such a great time coming on the show that he would certainly like to come back.
Well, he has the qualities. I had to say it. He has the qualities for the job.
Yeah.
and he knows what he's doing. And that's what I care about, and he's open to everybody. He isn't tied Democratic, Republican, he's open to everybody.
No.
We've dealt with him for a lot of years here, all our, our Democrats have dealt with him, and everybody has huge respect for him.
And there's some other people along those lines. I know, like I said, there were a lot of retirements in the Senate,
Right.
in leadership positions. I know
Don, well.
Don retired. May Flexer,
Right.
who's been involved with him from way back when,
Right.
was actually able to win the Senate seat.
Yeah.
We also have down my way McKinney,
John, yeah.
John retired, and Tony Wong, who is a similar kind of person. He's very much on the social issues, and I think if you really look at those types of people, it's not the ideologues
No.
of the Republican Party that make it in there.
Yeah.
It's the ones that are good around the business issues and are conservative
They're mostly
budgetarily.
old-time, they are, I talked about old-time Republicans. Well, I happen to know, I was glad Foley ran against,
Yeah.
the governor, because I knew he wasn't, I believed anyways, that and obviously we called it, that he wasn't gonna get in. I was really nervous about John McKinney running, because I think if John, it would have been the other way around, and they blew him out themselves. No offense, but
No, well, it was an interesting conversation I had, because
yeah.
I was actually with Len Fasano, who's the new minority
He's the
leader,
minority leader, right?
this morning.
Right.
And we were talking. I mean, and to a person, I think on the Senate side, they really wanted McKinney in, and he talked about because people were coming up. How come the Republican Party can't put up better candidates and find better candidates? They had a better candidate. You know what the issue was? Is people didn't accept him in the primary, and they thought, oh, let me stick with the ideologue, or the person that's with the gun advocates.
The gun advocates.
And that was
major
something
mistake.
that McKinney, he tried to mitigate the most of some of that bill. So he worked with people in order to find common ground on that. It was in his area.
Right.
I mean, how could you not respond to a situation like Sandy Hook that was in your era? He had to respond to it.
Yeah.
But everybody's so far off on this that they're unwilling to see that he actually had plans. And here's somebody who's fought for homelessness issues.
Oh, absolutely.
His dad fought for.
Exactly right. He would have won. He could have won over my whole marginalized group and stuff like that, because obviously in my marginalized group I have a lot of people that look towards. They do look towards the Republican Party for some reason. I try to talk them out of it, but and in our area it's obviously Democratic and stuff like that. But he did have those kind of credentials that could have made other inroads that Mr. Foley there was no. And I called him an empty suit. Actually, I think, are you sure this is Foley? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's Foley. Is this Mr. Foley? This is Mr. Foley right now, deflated. And this is where Mr. Finuzio should be deflated, okay? And you need to forget it. Go get your papers and try to run against our guy. Anybody who knows and watching the news, our guy, wonderful. I am so excited. Michael Passero took out his papers, made his announcement 30, is running for mayor of New London. Thank God. Thank God. Everybody in New London, you need to make sure. I'll be banging on your doors. I'll be yelling in the street. We got to make sure that Michael becomes the next mayor of New London. Okay? And this guy hits the road. Oh yeah, I got this hook. All right, what? and this is what I was friends with him yesterday. We were buddies. We shook hands. No, we shook, voting day, we shook hands. Him and I shook hands in the Democratic headquarters. He got, and me and Mayor Finozio, we shook. He said, "We're friends for the day, right, Father?" I said, "Yes, we are. We're friends for the day. The war starts right tomorrow." And that's where we are with.
So,
Well, everybody knows.
so is he Chicken Little today, or is
He is.
or is he just choking the chicken? I'm not really sure which one it was going to be.
I'm not sure where he is, but I'll tell you something. I want him out of town, I'll tell you that. Okay?
Well, I heard he wanted to do a charity fight.
Well, 5 times he said he wasn't going to run. It would have been different. I thought when he did it he did it on April 1st, so everybody says it's an April Fool's joke, ha, ha, ha. But no, that's not what he did. He did it 5 more times. He was at the city council meeting. He said, "No, I'm not running, I'm not." And that we stopped our petition of
Your no confidence.
My no confidence thing, because a no confidence can ruin your career. Well, it's symbolic here in the United States, but it can really devastate you. So we shut it down. So figured maybe the guy's being honest to his word. But I always sense, I said, he has not got any honesty in him. Okay, and of course, when he found out, as soon as he found out that Passero had taken his papers out the other day, he was already started, and he's already started to trash Michael. Well, you couldn't get in. Michael made the announcement at Muddy Waters yesterday, and you could not get, we had more people at Michael's announcements than we were able to the governor. Than the guy out the door, around the corner, the lines, every person, okay, that was out, even the old guard come out to, and Tony Basilica, Tony Basilica come out of retirement, is gonna go door to door and knock on doors, so I'll go with him and everything, whatever it takes, boy, crippled hip and everything. I want Michael. Michael is probably the best leader that we could have here. He's a wonderful guy. You haven't met Michael yet.
I think you're going to have him on the show real soon. I think it's coming up.
Couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks?
Couple of weeks,
Couple of
yeah.
weeks?
I don't have my book with me yet. Not next week, but we got him coming up real shortly. He's going to come on the show. He's working. I know tonight. I know he's working. He's probably watching the show and stuff like that. I know the fire guys watch the show and everything else like that. I mean, you couldn't ask for a nicer guy. Integrity, honesty. He's got one flaw. One big major flaw. Big major flaw. He runs a clean campaign. He's like Tim Bowles. I told him, you got to be dirty. Michael, you got to call this guy the liar and piece of garbage that he is, the lies that he made, the people that he hurt, the devastation he's done to the community. You can't, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be doing it all the time. Okay, I'm going to be yelling it out in the streets to my neighbors. This guy has been devastating to the community. He destroyed the police department. Please.
I think, obviously, I mean, we talked about the boxing issues here that
he
had last time, but we'll get to the fundraiser. But, from a brain injury perspective, I mean, quite seriously, I think he's taken a few too many hits to the head. He's a little punch drunk, and I think he's got some serious issues going on around here where he just doesn't function within the realm of reality, and he can't see his own deficits.
You know what? I'm going to tell you. Honesty
and
to
this is
honesty,
honest.
and no joke. I mean, we joke and everything else like
Sure.
that. I've been saying that, and I really mean. If you look at him, if you really step back and you look at the behavior and you see what he says and everything else like that. I worry about the weight loss. I don't know if anybody's been looking at him, and that's exactly what I think. It's either he got too much in the ring, okay, which happens to fight as he's at that age that when you start to fall apart, you break down and everything else happens to club fighters. I don't care. I used to fight. A club fighter. That's why I said you got to be crazy. My cousins would have killed me. champions, yeah, and they break down. And when they're in their mid-40s and stuff like that, they
Yeah,
start
it's
to
all,
fall
it's,
apart.
that's when all the hits like
And
to
all
the
that
head start to come through.
And
You know,
I think it's
and this is
like
this is
dementia.
this is well, it's kind of what it is really it's frontal lobe issues. I mean, obviously the judgment, you know, the inability to be able to see outside of yourself,
Delusional.
and see what everybody else sees in your situation. I mean, it comes across as being narcissistic. But I think this guy's got a serious issue going on over here. I really do.
I do
I'm
too.
concerned. That, and for some godforsaken reason, he seems to be like a masochist. Because anybody who'd want to go in and come up against you after you did all this stuff to run him off in the first place. I mean, you were giving him his opportunity, his out the door, his walking papers that's nice, and
Take
go
it
out the
easy, forget
door.
about
You can
it.
go wherever you want, but you know what? You want to go down in a fight? You know, this is clearly where it's coming to. You want to go down in a fight? I tell you what, if you're feeling like you're the club fighter here, I know I'm a little outside of your weight class. I'm not outside of your age class. I'm 245. I don't know, what's he running, 150 now?
I think he's maybe 150, maybe 160. I don't know.
I'll
He
tell
don't
you
look
what, you drop, I'll drop 25, you gain 25, we'll be in the same weight class. What do you say? I'll do your charity fight for you. I'll
Yeah.
take you on.
This is my second. Here you go, Mr. Mayor. Okay, you don't want to go with father. He's too old. This is my second. Dominic will go take you on for charity. Now this is the second time. We mean it. We're not
Yeah.
joking.
I'll do it.
We're serious.
You give me enough time to be able to train.
Oh, you got enough time. He's not going to do anything till the spring. That's what he said. That's what he told me the other night. Okay, that he was going to do something in the spring, and everything else. So. And that's great. Oh, my goodness, I didn't see that. My God, I'm not there. Oh, guess who we got? Hey, Ray!
How you doing, Ray?
How you doing?
Okay, we love you, Ray.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
You got to turn down your TV, Ray.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? You gotta turn down your TV, Ray.
You got it.
I did.
Okay,
There you go.
okay. We're doing good.
I did.
Okay.
How are you?
We can hear your TV.
How are you?
I'm fine, Ray. I'm missing you.
How are you? I'm fine, Ray.
Now you got
You're looking good.
you
Hey,
got
you're looking good.
Thank you, but your TV is not down. Ray, you got to turn it down or we can't talk. Because you're overriding our system.
Can I talk to you, Jazz?
That's better. Okay.
There you go. Now we can talk.
Now you can. Everything's
How you
good.
doing, my friend?
You know Dominic.
How you doing, Ray? It's
How
good
are
to see
you?
you.
Hi, Dominic, buddy.
He's happy to see you. You doing okay? We're praying for you. You okay?
I gotta go next week to the hospital.
When?
I gotta go next week to the hospital.
Next week?
Next week.
Next week? Okay. Our prayers are always with
Yeah.
you.
We'll
You
be
know
saying
that,
prayers
Ray,
for you,
okay?
Ray.
And you're welcome to come and see me.
Well, you call me when you're in, okay? You should have the number. Call me when you're in, and
Okay.
I'll come and
Good
see you.
night.
All right. Good night. Bobby said hello to you, Ray. Too. Good night. Okay?
Night.
Ray's great. Is he off? Did he go?
I think so.
I know. Yeah. Ray is a loyal watcher. He's been with us for years and years and years, and stuff like that, and calls in, and we're always concerned about his health and hope he's doing good. And Bobby and the guys always say hello, and obviously to our crew over at the Towers and the Mohegan, we love you. And you know what? Father really loved all the work that everyone did. I mean, not only here but across the state. That's it. That's all.
Ray didn't hang up, so
Oh.
press the off button on the bottom.
Okay, there I did.
Okay, now you're good.
Okay. father needs directions on what he's doing here after all these years still. If it wasn't for Mary Jane, I wouldn't be knowing what I'm doing.
Most people think it's the voice of God over there.
Boy, she's going, it's Mary
Hit the
Jane.
on button.
Straighten yourself out, father. Get a life. We wouldn't be able to go on if it wasn't for her. Oh, she's nursed me through this for what, 12 years, something like that. I'm married. A long time. But, you know, I really want, and now we're going all over the state, as we're up all over the state, and Dominic will talk about the new news that's going to happen. All of you folks, all of you street talk people, all of the hits, 160,000
Something
hits.
like that.
Something like that. And out of those hits, I think we only got, I don't even think we got 10 bad things about, you know, our information and everything for the governor and all the stuff that we did. You folks are unbelievable. You're all action people. And you hide behind your closet and you don't call in. Now, it's really great to tell me, you know, but I hope that you are getting good information from us. And all of you folks that work hard and everything else like that, but then go out and vote and follow the information that we're trying to give you as honest, with integrity and everything else like that. We love you. I mean, because this was a tough
It was.
election. We were all over the state. You got, people don't know.
was.
Kathy Johnson, Kathy, I keep forgetting, you're gonna see this in your area. We love you for the work you've done down there. It's amazing. All over the state, the people who've worked with us.
Yeah, I was actually at a Get Out the Vote party the night before Election Day, and we had Chris Murphy down there. We had Richard Blumenthal down there.
Yeah, that's right.
We had Dan Malloy. There was, you know, a big event for him. We had Jim Himes down there, down in Norwalk. And
Nancy was all over the place.
Yep.
You know, and they were up here too. They had been up here and everything else like that. I mean, it was just, everybody really worked hard on this. Our union folks, I mean, you see the flag behind me. Obviously, I'm an AFSCME. I'm retired AFSCME, and I'm an AFSCME. But I'm long-term Teamster. I mean, I was a Teamster at 16, years old, so 50-some-odd years. And I met a Teamster the other night, John, if you're out there, I was down Mr. G's. He's 3 years older than me. And he was from Waltham, Mass, when I'm from Newton, Mass. And him and I were both Teamsters. It was really interesting, okay? We were Teamsters. So all the union guys, I mean, and there's my AFSCME sign right behind me. The work that you folks have done, both my sisters and brother union folks, if it wasn't for you, and if it wasn't for the disability communion and activists that got out, Dan Malloy would not be in office today. That's 1%. He wouldn't be there. It was our votes, again. We put him in there the first time, we put him back, everybody, you put him in. It's not one group or anything, it was the village. It was our village from all over that got him in office, and we're gonna hold his feet to the fire. He's a big pain, but he's our pain. He's the people's pain, and he really does. There's no joke. His heart is with the poor, the marginalized, those that struggle. He's had to struggle himself, so he knows the stuff that we go through. Comes from a big family, stuff like that. I love the guy,
well,
even though I like to break his wrist.
I know. Like I said, I saw him the night before, and I said, "Yeah, Father Russ has been campaigning hard for you." Like,
Yeah, I see. I see the beard, right?
it's floating into the room.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talk about some of the issues, and this is where, you know, you see things being different in different parts of the different cities. I mean, obviously, you know, their strongholds are Hartford, New
Right.
Haven, Bridgeport, you know.
A lot of work down there. We
The
did a
president
lot.
came down.
That's exactly
you
right.
know,
right. Jackson, I gotta say, all the guys down there, we got a huge convict group down there that are all, I mean, all the justice group, the biggest justice group is there.
I think maybe
Yeah.
this symbolizes some
Yeah.
of the issues that, you know, if you want to do anything, you know, from the other side, you're going to have to come in and deal with some of the urban issues
Right.
that are important,
Right.
and not just a car tax or borrowing the Democrats' plan for how to work in like the urban areas or other things along those lines. The other, you know, big trend that they saw within this were the towns around Sandy Hook.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I mean, obviously, what happened there was a horrible tragedy
Horrific.
for everyone, and everyone
Everybody.
throughout our state. And I know different people react to this differently, but I think those people appreciated the way that he came in and the way that he handled that, and then the level of action that was brought about because of that. And, you know, we are the only state, you know, at the moment, I believe Oregon is putting in some background check things that may or may not have passed over Election Day. But, you know,
Massachusetts, I believe.
it's I mean, look, I don't have any issues with people like having guns, and I think responsible gun ownership is important. But I do think, you know, universal background checks and other things along those lines are important steps that don't really put a crimp, you know, on our system, and they ensure that, you know, or hopefully they ensure that the people that, you know, shouldn't be having the guns or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you look at it, really, the problem with the people that do these things and everything else like that, there's really a difficult way to identify them. They're not criminal in the sense of criminal.
No.
They're not criminal like I was criminal. They're not.
No.
They're very different in the sense of that. And I happen to believe that's what you got to do. You know, people say, well, how can you say that, Father? Because you've been a gunman all your life. I have been a gunman. And when I was a gunman, I am a hunter and a trapper and stuff like that. Hunting and trapping is different. As far as from a crime background, number one, I'm not going to use a registered gun. And number two, I know where to get them. I get a rock and a socks, and I find a cop, and there you go, I got his gun. And that's it. Okay, criminals are going to steal guns. They know how to get. That's not going to. It's not about preventing criminals from getting guns, and that's what they use. It's about finding those people that have, say, mental challenges and stuff like that
I
that
want
you
to say
need to look at.
I mean, and it goes beyond mental challenges for some people. I mean, and there's some either genetic defects or, you know, some severe issues going on there, and, you know.
I'm watching up there because she.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, if there's a phone call, she usually puts it up there. No, it's hard, and not only that, all states are different. So that's the
Yep.
problem. You are never going to change Montana, Wyoming, Arizona.
I doubt that
and
you will,
everything,
yeah.
because they need guns. They work with guns. They go out in the desert. The cowboys use it. They still
Yep.
got cowboys out there that are shooting snakes with them. You know, I mean, there's a different lifestyle that is different from here. And in New York and in Boston and stuff like that, you don't need guns. That's why you have all these policemen. When you're in Arizona and you're out in the mountains and stuff like that, and you got a problem, the cops ain't going to get to you for 3 hours,
Yeah.
even if you have a barroom fight. That's the reality out there. But our people don't know that because they've never been there. They don't know. You know, and if you and the need for a weapon is totally different in various pockets around our country, and that's one of the difficulties. And you know, whatever. I don't know if they're ever going to solve the issue. But
No, they're not.
Here,
They're not.
for
But
what
for
was
here,
done here,
and he was
leadership had done
and he
the
was
right
and
thing.
he was
I don't get-
he was unapologetic about it. I
Yeah.
mean, like it or not, I
Here
mean,
it is, I
here
gotta
it
do
is.
it, I'm gonna do it. No, he did the right
Yeah.
thing. And nobody needs one if you need one of those banana clips,
Yeah,
you might as well forget, I don't need a banana clip. If I'm gonna kill you, believe it or not.
if you can't,
You're
if you
trouble.
can't do it in 6 shots.
You gotta be kidding me. They used to joke, okay, everybody, I'm getting smart now, right? They used to joke, because father carried a Walters PPK. Anybody who's a gunman knows what that is. 9 shots with the one in the chamber. And when I was young and crazy and everything else like that, they'd say, why do you have that? I said, because the first 6 will miss you, but the last 3 will kill you. But those were in my father's, when my father was a crazy maniac, stupid individual. I do not carry a gun anymore, so don't worry about it. I may know where to get them, but I don't carry one anymore. My daughter took them all away from me. That lieutenant that's in the Coast Guard. Get rid of these guns, Dad.
But, I mean, like I said, if you want to break down the race, I mean, those are the 2 major issues.
Yeah.
And for the other side, I mean, I hope there's a good working relationship that comes about. I know,
The guys that we talked about, that you go across the aisle with, they're dynamite guys. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. The guy, and I'm not blowing smoke. Father, everybody knows that's on the Republican side. Father's a down and dirty Democrat, but, I have all the respect for the guys who are on my show and I've dealt with. And I got respect, even if you disagree with me and everything else like that. We're all in the same bucket. We're all trying to do the right thing for our issues, and that's where it's
I know,
at.
I was up at the Capitol a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And we were talking about more brain injury issues because they changed around the status of us ILSTs.
That affects us
yeah,
directly,
and,
both you and I, right.
I testified on the issue, and I brought this out, that, there's some big issues.
Big issues on this.
And they're also tied in with, your union negotiations, and,
Yep.
they all, I think when it kind of brought it to light, they all realized, okay, this is going to end up,
Big cluster.
it is, and it's
a
going to end up
big
costing.
and
It's going to end up cost
and
money.
It's gonna cost money, it's gonna hurt people and everything. Again, that was stupid legislation. Nobody looked at what the circumstances, and nobody sat down with us folks that are on the end and said, hey, what's going on? And this was all done because of a few people.
But that, like I said, we were talking about some of the Republicans. Kevin Kelly came out after I testified, found me out there, walked out of his office. He's like, I was watching this. He said, you had such good testimony. Thank you for understanding the issue and bringing all these things to light and making us realize that this is what a major problem this is, and it's really unresolved, is what it is right at the moment.
Right now,
it got pushed through because they needed to push through. Obviously, we're talking because nobody's calling tonight. But it got pushed through, and this is another issue that they're going to have to deal with. The major thing that we were looking at, and I know I brought this up to Kathy's attention, and I'm. This is my disappointment that, Tim's not going to be around to help us out with this, was yet again, we had a situation where people weren't notified
No notification.
of a major change.
Of a major change, right.
We only had a day and a half's notice of when a public hearing was. And I think we're looking to legislation, hopefully, and we're going to talk to Kathy Austin about it, to be able to put in place these things, because they're really simple. You know what the nice part about this is? Allied actually sent out notices of the change before it passed
Yeah.
up in the legislature.
Exactly, right. I know.
And so if they were capable of doing that, of sending that information out to people, who are providing services and people who are receiving services, how hard is it for them to be able to, a month beforehand, hey, here's an
what's
issue
coming.
that's coming up.
Right.
here, look at this website and see when the public hearing is actually going to be. How hard is that?
Should be nothing to it.
No.
Should be really, really easy, but for some reason, it isn't. And that's what and people talking to each other about these issues and coming together should be able to deal with them. But for some reason, people just do not think ahead on what's going on, and it's too bad. And that's why everything got jammed up, and something needs to be done about that. I believe Kathy knows that has to happen. I actually believe that all the people that you and I have talked to know that. Like, obviously, Tim was right on it and stuff like that, and so that's. It's going to be some of the things that we're going to be dealing with under the new folks that are in there, and we're going to be dealing with over the session and what's going on, and and in all the areas that's happening, and
And I guess that is the unfortunate part of all this. I know we were talking about it earlier. I mean, I lost. My representative, James Maroney, I was sitting down today, like I said, I was sitting over with the other end of the aisle, and they were talking about a bill that he sponsored, adding on to, manufacturing apprenticeship and other things, and I was talking, with Dave Ucino, and he was like, I can't believe that he's not going to be back in there. Here he took like a bill that I had worked on, and he brought it forward with some like great ideas,
right,
that really work for everybody.
right.
And this is the hard, disappointing part of this is like Tim's got well over like 30, 40 years of experience working in the human services field. I know people like to go through and they like to vote like, that party line on one end, or they like to blame like one side or the other. But, these are real, quality losses of people that have major input.
And that's bad. You know what, that's one of the things that my publisher association with Michael Lennard goes absolutely crazy, because he's a Brit, and the way our government system works and everything else like that. And the tragedy is that is how it works. I mean, we lose Tim with all his knowledge and all his stuff, that is central to this kind of stuff. I'm sure he's going to find another way to help get that information in and help and stuff like that. But that is the reality of our system, which can be very, 2 steps forward, one step back.
Yep.
And that's why we take so long in doing this stuff. We are fortunate, though, that we've got key people that are still there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for Kathy. I mean, to lose Kathy, I would have went out of my mind. Dyslexia. She's on the dyslexia, all the mental health issues, and everything else like that. I don't know what I would have done with her. She's got major bills in and everything. She was worried. There was no question about her being worried about and she's a tough lady, and she's a tough campaigner and stuff like that. Tim's probably watching it. Tim knows I love Tim. Before he was a politician and stuff like that, he got out there and he did such a great job and stuff like that. He has got a major flaw like Michael Passero's flaw. He's not a dirty. He doesn't want to use dirt in the campaign. He's not a dirty campaigner. He's not that kind of campaigner. And the problem, obviously, and I keep saying that, and people sometimes don't listen to me, is if you aren't aggressive and you're not that kind of guy, chances are the other guy knows that, and they're going to do enough to put you out. And you most of the time it's lies or innuendos or enough to to knock you off. See, so I don't have to lie with this guy.
No, he does it for himself.
He does it for himself. this is my 5 times, I'm not gonna run, I'm not gonna run. Believe me, I'm not, tell all you folks I'm not gonna run, I'm not gonna. Michael Passero's running, I'm running. You can run, but you ought to run away from the city.
But you can run, but you ain't hiding.
You ain't hiding, pal. You ain't no gonna hide no place, right? Passero is a man of integrity, and again, he's nice.
That's
He's
okay.
a fireman. One of the reasons is he's so nice. He's a fireman. He's one of those guys that runs into the place when everybody's running away. You know, he's that kind of guy. He's homegrown. I mean, you got to be kidding me. 3 times now he's been elected, and he's really still not quite a politician. But he's a great. He's open to everybody. He loves everybody. He's got a great family man. He likes boats. You like that, okay? He's still got his in the water. I mean, you couldn't an attorney and a union negotiator and stuff like that. Serious. In fact, he was just up, I believe, at the Supreme Court arguing a case. The guy's a brilliant guy. I mean, he's the best. You know, but he's a nice guy.
Hey, look,
You can't be a nice guy.
I understand it. You know
what
what?
I mean? You gotta be.
I mean, my wife keeps coming up to me. You're not going to run for office. You're not going to run for office, are you?
She knows I'm trying to. Yeah,
Well, I mean, the reality is, look, you know, I've been in enough political situations, you know, in business, and had to deal with a lot of backstabbing type people in certain circumstances, and you know, obviously, you and I deal a lot with people, and obviously, my style is conducive to. I'm bringing everybody into the fold. I'm understanding where they're coming from, and
nice like bang them over the head.
So I mean, you know what? And I'll say this to my wife. No, what I do is not conducive to that. Do I want to make the changes and help everything else along? Yeah, of course I do. I mean, that's why, you know, we're in this business.
That's why we are in the business.
But
that's exactly right. Well, I got in a fight. I almost got in a fight. I almost got in a fight, over Ernie Hewitt. I almost got in a fight. Right, Mr. Loughlin? Okay? Because I would have loved to punch you right in the mouth anyways, because of the filthy, dirty campaign that you ran, okay? And all lies. It was bad enough to run a dirty campaign. I mean, I can deal with that. But when it's all lies and the kind of slut stuff that they put out was absolutely obnoxious. It's one of the worst campaigns I ever seen. So I said something. They had the big sign with the snake and the filthy thing that they had out there. And he's a racist on top of it and everything else like that. Ernie is just such a nice guy and everything else like that. So, I mean, he was upset about this campaign. He really wanted to win because he was, you know, the community. And I said, Ernie, you can't pay no attention to that. And then I go down there and I have to vote. And I got so mad at that sign, I wanted to rip it up. So I got in an argument. I guess it was his kids. I said, you ought to rip that up. It's a bunch of lies. So I'm going away, and they say, no, it ain't lies. And I get in my truck, I swing around, and come back in front of the sign. I said, you ought to burn the sign. And next thing I hear, you want to say that to my face? It's Loughlin. I said, what? I'm in the truck. I stopped the truck. I got out of the truck. Everywhere, oh man. I got nose to nose with him. I said, you're a dirty blah, blah, blah. All stuff I can't say on TV to him, and you're a racist piece of garbage, and you didn't pay your taxes, and you want to represent the community. You don't pay your taxes, and you want to be a community representative. He said, well, what about you? He said, and your crimes. I said, my crimes. He said, mine were only 3 years ago. I said, well, mine were 30 years ago, but I'm not running for office. I'm not out here representing people for office, you know? My goodness gracious, did I see?
But you know what, it brings around another point, which is, you know, people, and I come in the studio here, and some people here were criticizing Ernie for not coming out and debating the guy. Why do you want to debate somebody
over that disgusting stuff?
That can't, like, you know, be able to sit down and talk with you in the first place? Right. Yeah. What is the point? I mean, seriously.
It's a waste of time.
It is.
It's a waste of time.
It is. And I sat here and I listened to this other person who I'll leave out nameless.
Right, okay.
And I'm going, are you really saying these things?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I don't really understand it.
Well, sometimes people are afraid to go on the show because I get very animated and aggressive and stuff like that. However, anybody who's watched the shows, if we have somebody in opposition that sits there and is responsible and everything else like that, we can even have a heated discussion and be reasonable with each other and stuff like that, and hear each other and where they are. And that's what it's all about. It's all about listening, hearing, being open to the other side, not not the kind of dirt that was involved in that, but that's over there. I want to be happy. I want to, you know what I mean. I want. Hey, you know what? This was the recap night. You know what I mean. I love all you folks that got out and voted. I don't care which side you went out and you voted and everything else. Wasn't the turnout? It's an off year, okay, but we got some big stuff coming up. I want you to voting. We're going to be registering again. Michael Passero, Mayor of New London, we love you, and I want to make sure every person that's an activist out there gets out and works for Michael. Let's make sure that he goes in with a landslide, that there's nobody in his way. Okay, that's my war right now, and I love the hat.
Well, you got to hand me the chicken.
Okay.
So for Nuzio, I'm calling you out. Tell me if you're chicken or not.
There you go. He can fight you for the fundraiser, right? What, Dominic? God
As
bless.
always.
Oh, thank
As
you.
always.
It was really all our union people. I love you all. I'm going to wrap up and say good night, and I'll see you I don't even know who's going to be on next week. I know I got Michael coming up, but I think it's the week after. So we'll have a surprise, whatever happens. Okay. God bless. I can go early. Mary Jane can run the street, and I'll go out with my. I got the Pope.
I
to get me
think
one
we're
of
heading
these.
down to G's with this. If you guys want to come see Father with
No, we're going. No, Philip.